I'd say the first one was the one-day intestinal cleanse back in 2021, and with the intestinal cleanse, I've had good results. Um, the first one I did, um, from the analysis chart, was coming out damp, so there's a lot of damp mucus. So my chosen because I've been on at the same time I've been on urotherapy since 2021, and I'm obviously aware that I've done a lot of damage to my body. I need a lot of cleansing in my intestines, my liver. I knew my liver was very clogged up, same with my lymphatic system. Um, but I followed the suggested process with starting with the intestinal cleanse first. Um, so that was okay. The first one had some good results. We released a lot of dampness. Challenging part has been the food side of things, because I'm trying to challenge myself to do long periods of fasting, to do deeper healing. It hasn't always run smoothly. After the first ones, went back to just eating what I want, really. And then I did the second one, and the second one was different. I was just say it was about 8 months later, and I got a bit stricter with myself on my diet again, and I've been looping the urine therapy every day. So at work, I'm just looping all day, so I have no food at all. So on the second one, there was no dampness, which was a good sign. Just it was about a half-meter rope of plaque that came out, rubber plaque, and then after that came out over the period of a few days, releasing a lot of mucus. So I decided to do a liver cleanse probably a couple of months after that. But I knew that was going to be my toughest one, the liver cleanse. I did mess up there because I didn't have no release for a couple of days. And then I ended up consuming some food, which I didn't, because I know once you start the digestive process, it messes up the cleanse. So I left it a good while. So this year, I did a intestinal cleanse, and then I did a liver cleanse the next day. So I had a weekend off work. So I thought, right, I'm going to do the intestinal cleanse and do the liver cleanse the next day on the Sunday, just to have a double hit, so to speak. And yeah, intestinal cleans straight away. In the evening, I started purging, releasing mucus, and then the next day, it was about 3.5 meter lengths of ropey plaque. Yeah, yeah. So I was really happy about that. The liver cleanse again is really tough. Um, I knew because your liver's like your first organ, then it works down. So I knew that was clogged up because of my how my diet's been over the years. No release. Two days, 3 days. So I was doing enemas, warm water, um, still nothing, and then I think after about fourth or fifth day, because I kept with the enemas, drinking warm water, and then I was mixing my urine with some aged urine, and I slowly started releasing little bits from the liver, small chunks of fat. Yeah. But no big release of bile. So I waited a couple of weeks and did another liver cleanse. Now this one I really felt it. Um, yeah. Um, Again, it was a real struggle. I was clogged up. I left it for 2 weeks this time, and I had no bowel movements whatsoever. Again, I was the warm water, the age urine, age enemas, everything. I even after I waited a good 3 or 4 days before I consumed any food. But what I could feel it right at the bottom of my bowels there, sitting there. You know, every time I was going to the toilet, I could feel it. It just wouldn't come out. And so I tried a bit of food. I was having raw juices, you know, celery, cucumber, lime, some watermelon and ginger. You know, I was trying everything, um, and still nothing. It just wouldn't budge. Whatever I was consuming, that was coming out, but that wouldn't budge. So I decided to go for a colonic. So I went for a colonic, and really well. She was quite impressed of how much I was able to hold and for the length of time. Um, Dark mucus was coming out, which was a really good sign. So it was going in deeper cleanse. So the next day, went to work, no bowel movement, came back from work. As soon as I walked through the door, I was dying to quickly had to run to the loo. Just that big lump of bile just came out. I mean, I wish I could have caught it and sieved it and to see what was actually in there. Um, I've got to say the way it affected my energy was awful because I had to work. So that week, the first week at work, my energy was way off. I was like a bit shaky. It just felt like a negative energy. So I know you can store negative energy in your liver. Um, so yeah, it just threw my energy off, and I was my energy at work. So I'm a painter and decorator. I was slipping off ladders, spilling paint. I thought, what's going on? My energy was off. I felt a bit shaky, but the energy just felt really horrible, negative. Do you know what I mean? And I knew it was because I wasn't able to release what I did. And yeah, once I released it, my energy shifted. And as soon as that released, because I take photos of myself quite regularly, as soon as I released that, I took a photo of myself, of my eyes. My eyes, my eye color went completely as like sort of greeny grayish. Went really light because my eyes are quite sort of dark browny hazel color. They went really light, like a sort of a greeny grey color. So that was really encouraging. So I've tried then to be really strict with my food intake and trying not to consume as much food. And the kept an eye on my eye color. So they've fluctuated. They're still really light. There's a little bit of dark brown just around the outside of the pupil. Um, whereas after that release, there was no dark brown whatsoever. They were completely changed, really light. That's obviously because I've consumed a bit of food here and there. So a bit of that, my colour of brownness has come back. But I've noticed the left side is more clearer than the right side, which is interesting. So maybe there's an imbalance there on my right side of the body. That's what maybe I'm thinking. Yeah. But my energy, as soon as that was released, the shift in energy in how I was feeling was just amazing. It really was. Yeah.
In that regard.
Well, just altogether, I'd say really, mind, body, and spirit. You know, I just felt immediate shift as soon as that bile was released. It's just it's the release from the liver rather than the intestines that I really felt the big shift in how I felt and how I looked and how I felt. You know, yeah. So I have been taking the maintenance package. So I've got the quantum crystals, which I take daily, the particles, and the other tablets. I can't remember the 5 tablets that you take. So I take them on a daily basis as well, just as a support if I consume any food. So I do intend to do more liver cleanses. Probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'll do another one. When I went for another colonic, because I went for another colonic as well last week, and I was releasing stones. Yeah, I was quite surprised. I was releasing. She said you're releasing stones and you're releasing dark mucus. So yeah, that was really interesting. Like 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks after, at least 2 or 3 weeks after the cleanse. I thought, right, I'm going to go for another colonic. Out of interest. Yeah, and it released some more stones. So it's also helped me being staying away from food because I was retaining a lot of water in my stomach area. So the more I've abstained from food, I've had more flushes, and my energy's been better. So I've been finding I'm only having like 3 or 4 hours sleep, and I'm having more energy and at work. I've also found if so waking up 4 o'clock in the morning, and a couple of times this week I thought, oh, I'll fall back asleep again because I felt a bit tired. When I've done that, woken up probably after an hour, couple of hours, I felt worse, and I felt really groggy, and a headache. So it's my sleep patterns I've noticed have changed as well. So now when I'm waking up at that time, even though I feel a bit tired, once I've got up and had a juice or some water or whatever, I feel fine. The tiredness is gone. So that's a big change as well that I've noticed.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of doing a liver cleanse and then the intestinal cleanse the next day. So if it does get stuck again, I was hoping the intestinal cleanse will help push it through.
Actually, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I might give that a go because I do feel there's definitely a lot more to come from my liver. And both occasions I was releasing small chunks of fat. That was coming out first, but it was the big chunk of sticky bile. Yeah, it was awful. That really affected my energy. It wasn't nice. So I'm definitely going to do quite a few more liver cleanses because that's where I intuitively know that there's a lot more work to be done there yet. I must say, when I did the intestinal cleanse and the liver cleanse back to back, after about 5 6 days, I got a mad sweet craving, and I've indulged on like chocolates and desserts. And I just thought to myself, what's going on here? I really had a strong craving. After the last liver cleanse I did and released that bile, my cravings went away. And now I've gone on to just sticking with my juices. And if I have something to eat now, I'm just doing some very lightly salted vegetables for a couple of minutes, so they're near enough raw. with some distilled water and some lemon and a bit of olive oil, and that's it. But I'm only having a very small bowl. So that was a big significant change as well in the cravings that I got for foods. So the last liver cleanse, the cravings for certain foods that I was having had gone. So that was really good as well. That was happy about. Yeah. So I'm definitely making some good steps forward. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. When you've gone through different experiences in your life, and that's been in there for years and years, and you're holding that whatever you've gone through in your life at that point when you've consumed those foods. So when you're purging that out, you're purging out those emotions. That's also come to mind as well because I've been quite emotional this time. So if I'm watching a film or something or put some music on, I've been quite emotional after this last release, which was interesting. Oh, yeah, you have to embrace it, even if you're struggling to release, you still embrace it. When it's ready, it's ready. I just, it wouldn't release, and I knew it would at some point, but I just thought I'm going to try for a colonic and see if that helps. And next day it did. It released it. So that was a good choice. If I held on longer, it would have come out at some point. But I just chose to do a colonic at that time. So I know that it did help me. So yeah.